I tried to get focused on other things, but I always ended up back in the same place, and it wasn't making me happy. I needed to get the focus back. What people say isn't going to stop me. I have to do things for myself. I like creating images. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Going to the gym wouldn't be on my list of favorite things to do. I'm not really a fashion designer. I just love clothes. I've never been to design school. I can't sketch. I can't cut patterns and things. I can shorten things. I can make a dress out of a scarf. I was never anorexic, so I was never that skinny. I was never bony, but I remember thinking I don't want to be this skinny. I was 14 when I started modeling. At the end of that first day, my mum said, "If you want to do this, you're on your own, because I'm not traipsing around London ever again like that. It's a nightmare." I want to apologize to all of the people I have let down because of my behavior, which has reflected badly on my family, friends, co-workers, business associates, and others. I am not a fashion freak. Calvin was very clever. We did the pictures and made the commercial, and that really worked. Actors do like watching girls parade down the runway for some reason. Once I was walking from the Mercer in New York, because otherwise I don't walk anywhere, and this woman, paparazzo, who was following me, fell over a fire hydrant and her whole tooth went through her lip. I leant over her saying, "Are you all right?" And she was still taking pictures. Everyone's projecting onto you, or you feel like everyone is judging you. I feel like I'm being judged a lot of the time. You become really self-conscious. Yeah, I like clothes, but I hardly ever go shopping, hardly ever. It's all about the blanket, pillow, and red wine. You should always be asleep on a plane. It's a sin to be tired. I would have wanted to be a rock star, a lead singer if I wasn't a model. I'd go touring in a bus with my band. In my next life, that's the plan. I thought it was quite vain to say, I want to be a model. Now I can walk into a room full of people I don't know and do my job. That's quite a massive thing to learn, I think. Lila can't be a model until she's at least 21. She's already a mini-me. It is scary. She already has her own beauty kit. Jam. I love my jam. I've just had a batch of it come through. I've been making it. It was kind of boring for me to have to eat. I would know that I had to, and I would. It is quite amazing what I didn't feel after a while. I didn't really want to feel things. I was definitely living fast. I was working, traveling a lot, playing, I didn't stop. It all became unbalanced. I really work. I like feeling that I've nailed it and we've got the picture. I have met almost everyone I've wanted to meet. I have made some of the best friends that I've got in this business. I have a dress-up chest at home. I love to create this fantasy kind of thing. Well, I met Frank Sinatra and Bob Dylan in the space of 15 minutes. Frank Sinatra kissed me on the lips. He kissed me on the lips, and then he gave me a filterless cigarette, and then I met Bob Dylan. I came off all lightheaded and had to go sit on his dressing room steps. There's always a dinner to go to. There are always loads of people around. I was having fun working with my friends. For a while, it all just kind of rolled together in a great way. Then finally I said, okay, well, I want to know all the details. I want creative input. I want to be consulted. I want to know what they're doing and who's involved. And I want to see the space. So they took me to see it. And then I realized it was major. All these red flags on the Rue de Rivoli, with my name on them right by the Louvre. The first time I went to Johnny Depp's house in LA is when I realized what I was getting myself into. I knew he was famous, but I didn't really know what that entailed. People think your success is just a matter of having a pretty face, but it's easy to be chewed up and spat out. You got to stay ahead of the game to be able to stay in it. Modeling can be a bit brain damaging. Starting my own brand was what I needed to do. I only model if there are such good jobs that you don't want to say no to. All that dressing up makes me say, what do I want to wear? And what do I want to do with Topshop? It all kind of leads into the other things. I'll never forget that show season. It was completely mad. I was staying between Christy and Naomi's rooms, and it was all limos and the Ritz Hotel and all that kind of business. I'd go on the train to castings, changing from my school uniform on the train. I carried on like that for a few years, getting jobs in bits and pieces. I was really nervous, intimidated by the whole thing, all the people and all the buzzing and all the sitting around waiting. I felt really small in this huge place. I was amazed at the support that I got when I was in there. And when I came out, People knew that I was back on track. I was interested in working again. I was a scapegoat. The media had to put responsibility on somebody, and I was chosen. They felt free to say that because someone was thin, they were anorexic, which is ridiculous. I started going back and forth, New York, London, New York, London. I wasn't looking back at all. I was doing tons of jobs. Working. I kind of lost interest in school. I was never really that interested anyway. I was never academic. I didn't really go to school as much as I should have. I edit things down, and I've got a massive dressing room in the country, and so all the things I'm not going to wear but don't want to get rid of go there. And all the stuff I want to get rid of goes to Oxfam. Americans are really obsessed with their teeth being white and straight, aren't they? I saw this little girl the other day with one of those whole head braces, elastic all the way around. How traumatizing for a child to have to wear one of those. You look like a monster. All of a sudden, I was living what is perceived to be the model life. It was just full on, 24 hours a day. It was work all the time, and there's always a party to go to. You go to a show, and there's no food at all. So if you're doing shows back to back, you can forget eating. I remember standing up in the bath one day, and there was a mirror in front of me, and I was so thin. I hated it. I never liked being that skinny. When you're shooting, you go to references in your mind. You think about how you should stand in these particular clothes, or how you should move. You think about the different characters you're playing, really. My daughter, Leela, loves the smell of gasoline. She always says, "Mummy, keep the door open when I'm filling up the car." I've heard it is one of the most preferred scents in the world. Maybe that's something to study for my next fragrance. All of a sudden, to get all of this attention and to be away from home and working all the time was hard. I was on planes all the time. I didn't see my friends. I cried a lot. It was quite terrifying. When people see an actor speak, they think they know him or her, whereas I'm just a face or a body to them. There was a point when it all really took off and got quite overwhelming, even though I didn't realize it. People don't hear me talk. They don't expect me to.